Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to anyone who's new here. My name is Zanele Tekiso. I am a registered South African nurse and I'm here on YouTube documenting my life as a nurse in South Africa. If that's the type of content you would like to enjoy, please do hit the subscribe button and join This Is Nessie. So I'm not going to waste any time. Today I am shooting a video that I think a lot of you guys are waiting for it. I am telling you guys the things that I have learned from working for the private sector, the NGOs to be precise, in the last 1 year, 3 months of my experience. So without wasting any time, let us quickly get into it. Okay, so I'm going to share 3 things that I have learned, or 3 important factors that I took with me from my previous job going forward. Number 1 is that always be ready for your retrenchment. Treat your appointment letter as a retrenchment letter. Just a couple of years before I could join in this particular organization, there's an organization here in Bojanala that called their employees and served them with retrenchment letters, and people were panicking, people were depressed, people were frustrated, people were stressed out because people were not ready to move. I recently watched something on YouTube and there is an HR manager that was saying, always be ready to leave the organization or for the organization to let you go. Don't be too comfortable in a company. She says when you get in a position, don't sit back and relax in your chair. Always be at the tip of your chair and be ready to bounce to the new level. Leaving an organization doesn't always have to be through retrenchment. Sometimes it's you getting better opportunities, it's you growing. The second thing that I learned from working for this particular sector is not to get involved, not to get romantically involved with people within this particular space. I'm not talking about this implementing partners, but I'm talking about the supporting partners of Department of Health. An implementing partner, basically these organizations that are really settled into the Department of Health premises. For instance, Oram Institute here in Bojanala, and I think in Mopani it is Anova, if I'm not mistaken. But those are organizations that are based into that district, and it's rare for them to like up and leave, and they've got like this massive amount of people working for that particular company. But I'm talking about these supporting partners like ourselves. We come in a district for 3 years or 5 years max, and then we leave, we go and work in another district. I wouldn't advise, I'm not saying don't do it, but I wouldn't advise for you to romantically get involved with such people, because trust me, eventually you're going to work with your ex. So if it's not necessary, if you know that it's not something that's going to work out for like in a long run, please don't do it. Don't get involved, because this is what I've learned. I've realized that getting involved in this organization actually means one day your ex-partner is going to be sitting on the other side of the interviewing table. And depending on how things ended, do you think they're going to appoint you? If it's someone that have seen you naked before, if someone that knows your behavior, if someone that has tested your intellect to the level of having you in bed, do you think it's someone that's going to appoint you or to want to work with you in a new organization? So for me, I honestly think it's safer for me to stay away from boys who are in this space, because I do not want to be reporting to my ex-boyfriend. No, sorry, that's not for me. The other thing is that people recommend each other in this space. So because we work 3 years with this organization, we work 3 years with that organization, we end up working in similar organization or in similar spaces. We end up working with each other. So we know each other's work ethics, we know each other, meaning it is also easy for us to recommend one another. Like, you see, there's a new organization that is coming. Already someone has recommended my name and said, Sister Zanele knows what she's doing, she knows her game. But imagine if the person who was doing the recommendation was my ex-boyfriend. Do you think, depending on how things ended between the two of us, do you think they would recommend me? So I honestly discourage sexual relations or romantical involvement with people in this same sector as you, especially if you're someone that values career progression. I'm at a point in my life where I truly value career progression over everything and anything. I think you guys know there's a guy that I've been liking and fancying in this workspace, but I decided not to give it a try because I knew that it wasn't something that's going to last forever, and I just didn't want us to be hostile towards each other or to disrespect one another, because I am certain and I'm sure now that the particular person that I'm talking about respects me, and I know that if an opportunity comes or arises, he's going to recommend me because he has that level of respect when it comes to me. He knows that I am here, the Ambango line. So I would discourage umjolo kule sector. I will discourage it. The last thing that this sector really taught me is to manage my money well. It is the 8th of April right now. On the 31st of March, my contract ended with my previous employer, and the surprising thing is I'm not yet paid for my March reimbursement, and I was supposed to be paid on the 31st of April. Waited for my money, but it didn't come. A message came in later around 8 o'clock saying, guys, you're not gonna get paid because of certain reasons within the company, so yeah, your reimbursement for March will be delayed. As I am saying, it's 8 days later and the reimbursement is still delayed. If you do not have an emergency fund in such a situation, it means your debit orders, all of them, they're going to bounce, and you will have financial problems and you will have stress. Okay, you will have stress. So the organization, some of these organizations don't have what government calls pension fund. They give you, or they pay you total cost to company, meaning when you guys part ways, nobody owes anyone anything. But they decided not to pay us our last salaries, which it's something that is sort of beyond their control. But I also want to say the organization could have done better in certain areas. But as an individual myself, you know, I sat down and I said, as an individual myself, I also need to see what is it that I did wrong, what is it that I could have done better. And the one thing that I would advise people to do is to have an emergency fund. Essentially, an emergency fund is the total cost of your expenses, of your monthly expenses. If you can have your total cost of your monthly expenses at least for 3 months covered, then I would say you are safe to be working in this space. I was thinking about it, and I was actually telling a friend of mine to say, working for this space is as good as driving in the far right lane when it comes to driving in a highway. I mean, chances of you getting an accident in Johannesburg are way higher than chances of you getting an accident in some farm, you know, because there are a lot of movement that in Johannesburg compared to in the farms. So if you are a person that stays in Johannesburg, you definitely need more security, more insurance when it comes to accidents and high risk life compared to someone that stays in the farm. So working for this sector actually means you are in a high risk, chances of losing your job, high risk of not getting paid even if you are within the job. So you are basically not in a stable job. You know, one of my girls that I normally talk to said to me, Sister Z, since you have a stable job, and I said to her, how do you define a stable job? And she said, a job that makes you or affords you to pay all your needs. And I said to her, okay, is it still stable if I do not get paid when I'm expecting payment? Do we still call it stable? But I think it teaches me as well to say, Zanele, have security, have measures around you that if something like this happens, you are taken care of and you are not harmed by it. Luckily this month I had like 1 month worth of an emergency fund, which I intended to use it for when I finally, for the period between exiting the old organization and joining the new organization. I knew there was going to be a month period where we're sitting down and we're not working and there won't be any payment coming in. So I saved a certain amount that will cover my expenses for 1 month. So I had to go and fetch that particular emergency fund and cover for it for this particular month that I did not plan not to be paid. And I will then take the salary for this month whenever it comes and make it my emergency fund. But what I learned is for me to continue doing the tradition of having emergency fund until at least I have 3 months worth of emergency fund saved into my account. So yeah, those are the things that I have learned about this particular sector. That growth also in this particular sector, it's inevitable. It's inevitable if you're giving it your all, if you are not scared of challenge, not necessarily scared, but even if you do it scared, there's going to be great reward and you will be recommended by people. So you should always be sitting at the tip of your chair instead of relaxing at the back of your chair thinking, oh, I have arrived. Not in this particular sector, my doll. In this particular sector, you move from one organization to the other. You move from one position to the other. Would I go back? Would I go back to Department of Health where there is a surety of an income, where there is a surety of a job, where there is a surety of everything and anything, where there is less responsibility, where there is less pressure? Would I then trade what I have experienced in the last 1 year, 3 months to what Department of Health has to offer? The answer is still no. I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't go back to Department of Health for anything. I would choose this job that doesn't pay me on time. I would choose this this job that gives me retrenchment letters any day, every day, anytime, anyway. I would pick it. And it's quite a ride. It's quite a fun ride. I think I like that about it, the fact that every day comes with different challenges. Every day comes with great opportunities. I mean, where would I have known that there are international organizations, there is consultancy, there are different types of opportunities? Where would I have been exposed to these things if I was still with Department of Health? All you get to be exposed with when it comes to Department of Health is actually your patients, your operational manager, and just facilitators whenever they come to do a training or a workshop. So yeah, I wouldn't trade or change anything for the past 1 year, 3 months, including the time where I didn't get paid on time. I wouldn't change it for anything. If you did enjoy this video, please do give it a massive thumbs up. Comment down below and tell me what have your experiences been in terms of working for the private sector, not necessarily nursing only, but tell me what are the things that you've learned from working for the private sector compared to working for the government sector, where it is a complete comfort zone. Let me know, drop them down below and I will completely engage. Please give the video a thumbs up and I will see you guys on my next one. Bye guys.